Hello everybody, this is Wesley from Creative Energy. Today I'm going to show you how to use some different test strips that you may have for your spa. The first one here is the 5-way test strip. This comes with most of our spas. This is the standard test strip. Let me show you here how this works. We've got on top the total level of bromine, the free chlorine, the alkalinity, the pH, and finally the hardness that might sometimes be called calcium or calcium hardness, but those are all on here. You might notice that the salt system shows the hardness a little bit lower. They wanted about 25 to 75, whereas every other spa you can go up to about 150 and still be okay. Here in the Bay Area, we have pretty soft water in most areas. Novato has a little bit harder water in some regions, but mostly all of the Bay Area is very soft, and we often don't need to make any kind of changes to the hardness in our water here in the Bay Area. Now, if you have the salt system, you want it lower here at 25 and 75, so just be aware of that. We'll talk more about that in our salt system instructions or in some later videos, going some more in-depth water chemistry. So the way we use this test strip here, let me zoom out. We're gonna dip it in the water. Here's our strip, I already took one out. And dip it in the water all the way down, bring it out right away. And then you basically take the reading right away and match them up. So first dot, or the first square on this pad goes to the first line, that's bromine. We're going to ignore that here if you have a chlorine spa, or vice versa. If you have chlorine, you want to ignore the chlorine line. But you'll notice that those are always going to be the same color. They're either going to both be all the way white if there's none, and they may both turn dark purple if there's a lot. But you're only going to read the line that you're using, chlorine or bromine. If you want to switch from one to the other, you actually are going to want to drain and refill the whole spa. So we don't recommend mixing those two chemicals. You either stick with chlorine or stick with bromine. Now, the next line down, this is our green one here that says alkalinity. As you can see on the chart, it looks like I'm about 80 or 120. I'm definitely right in the okay range where it says okay. The next line down we're reading is our pH. And I may be a little low on this one, as you can see here. It's hard to tell on camera, but it's a little different in person. But the pH looks a tad low. And then finally, our hardness. That looks just like a 75 or maybe even lower to me. So we're really good on our hardness too. That's how you use the 5-way test strip. Very simple. You just match it up pretty much right away down the line. The next one I want to go over here is the salt test strips. Let me get you a good view here. So the salt test strips are different than the regular test strips that you're using. It only checks the salt level. Now, this is important. We want to put this in the spa for 2 seconds. And then here it says hold strip level for 20 seconds and compare to the chart. Discard strip after 30 seconds. See what that means? So we need to wait exactly 20 seconds after we dip this strip, and that color is going to slowly change. Now, I don't think I have any salt in my test water here. I forget, but I'm going to try it. 2 seconds in the water. And then here is when we want to count and wait. So ideally you have a timer going, or just stay quiet and count in your head. But you're going to match it up to the chart there. And then we're pretty close to 20 seconds here. So 20 seconds in is when you take this mark. So it's not up there. It's definitely not down there. We are right in the okay range for this salt strip. Now, again, you wait too long and this thing's going to keep changing and eventually go white like this, 2500. If there's any salt in there, it'll take a little time, but it will keep changing. So make sure you take this reading right at 20 seconds or you're going to get the wrong reading. Now, the last test strip to talk about here is the phosphate test strip. Now, the phosphate test strip is also a little bit different, and this again is only going to be with the salt systems. You have a vial and then you have the test strip. So we're going to take one of these strips and put this strip into the cap of our vial, folding it in half, not real tight. We kind of want it to stay in this cap like here. And then we have our vial. You're going to want to fill that with your spa water. It's going to be a little tricky here. I'm going to go off camera. I don't want to spill this all in my van. Okay, so I filled that vial up, and I'm going to take my test strip in my cap, get that right in the vial, and then we're going to invert this guy back and forth. And we'll do this about 10 times or so, just until it doesn't seem like the color's changing anymore. It shouldn't take too long. You might be able to tell from the camera here, it's turned a little bit blue. It's not going to change anymore, so I'm going to take out the strip and the cap, and then we match it up here to our phosphate chart. But now this is a little bit different. Let me get this up here so you can see this. We want to actually take this reading from the top down. So, like so. We match it up here. So this appears to me at about 1000. It's a pretty similar blue. It's not super dark, maybe 500. So that's how we do the phosphate test strip. And that should cover all the different test strips you may need to use on your hot tub.